Hey there, I've got a question for you. Do you like watching TV? Or watching a movie on a big screen at a theater? Some people don't, but most people do. The cool thing is that if there's no TV around or a theater nearby, you can still see something that's kind of like a movie in your own head. And we call this movie theater that's in our head visualizing. Visualizing is what happens when you see pictures in your head. Visualizing happens when you're reading, because as you read the words, you start seeing the scenes happen inside your mind. Now we need to put the definition for visualizing into our reading notebook. So get your reading notebook, open it to the table of contents, and where right here I want to write page 1, visualize. And then I want you to turn to page 1. And on this page, you're going to write visualize. And on the next screen, I will have the definition, and you will write the definition out there. I hope you got that written in your notebook. If not, then go back a little bit and watch it again and pause it so that you can write that definition in. Keep your notebook close by because you're going to need it in a minute. You might want to pull out some crayons or colored pencils too, because you'll want those in a moment. Take a moment if you need to shake out your limbs and then sit down and get relaxed so that we can do a lesson on visualization. And remember, you can pause at any time if it helps you. This is the cover of the book Cherries and Cherry Pits by Vera Williams. In this story, there is a little girl named Bidemi, and Bidemi loves to draw. As she draws, she likes to tell little stories about interesting characters she creates. I want you to listen to the first few pages, and if you need to, close your eyes and see if you can start getting a picture in your head. Bidemi lives on the floor above me. We visit back and forth a lot. Bidemi loves to draw, so when she opens the door, I'm often standing there with a marker of some kind of color she doesn't have yet. She always tries a new marker right away. First, she makes a dot on the paper, then she draws a line out from the dot. As she draws, she tells the story of what she is drawing, and she always starts with the words, this. This is the door to the subway. A subway is a train that goes underground and takes people from places to places in a big city. Here's Vera. She's drawing. This is the door to the subway, and this is a man leaning on the door. And I'm going to pause right here, and I'm not going to show you the picture that's with this page, and I want you to see if you can get a picture of this man in your head. If you need to, you might need to come back and listen to this a couple times and see if you can start getting the picture of this man. This is the door to the subway, and this is a man leaning on the door. I hope he doesn't fall out when the door opens all of a sudden. His face is a nice face, but is also not so nice. He has a fat wrinkle on his forehead. It's like my mother's wrinkle. It's from worrying and worrying, my mother says. And his neck is thick and his arms are thick with very big strong muscles, and his shirt is striped blue and white, and his skin is dark brown, and in his great big hands he has a small white bag. This man looks so strong, I think he could even carry a piano on his head. But he is only carrying this little white bag. I wonder what can be in that little bag. I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to put this text out so that you can see it. If there's somebody who is doing this activity with you, then take a moment to pause and reread over what is written here and see if you can describe to them what that man looks like. I'll wait. Okay, we're going to go back to the story now. I'm going to read about the man again, and as I read, I want you to close your mind and see if you can start getting a picture in your head of what this man looks like. Close your eyes. Here we go. This is the door to the subway, and this is a man leaning on the door. I hope he doesn't fall out when the door opens all of a sudden. His face is not a nice face, but it is also not so nice. He has a fat wrinkle on his forehead. It's like my mother's wrinkle. It's from worrying and worrying. My mother says, and his neck is thick and his arms are thick with very big, strong muscles. His shirt is striped blue and white, and his skin is dark brown, and in his great big hands he has a small white bag. This man looks so strong, I think he could even carry a piano on his head, but he's only carrying this little white bag. I wonder what can be in that little bag. Take a moment and think about what words in there have helped you understand what this man looks like, and get that picture in your head of what this man looks like. I'm not going to show you the picture, but you can get a picture here in your head. I'm going to come back to the book, and I'm going to read this page. And in this page, it explains what a family looks like. So as I'm reading it, see if you can get in your head what this family looks like. I can just see that man going home to his house and walking up the stairs and opening the door to his living room. His living room has a pretty lamp, and he switches it right on. His kids are in the kitchen. Dee Dee, Dennis, Dwayne, Doris, he calls, I got something here for you. Then they come out. One sits on one of his legs and the other on the other. One leans right in between, and Dee Dee, she climbs round and back and leans over his shoulder. Then he opens the bag and pulls out a cherry. He puts one cherry in each of their mouths, and another, really red cherries too, and there they sit, eating the cherries and spitting out the pits, eating cherries and spitting out the pits. I hope you were able to get a picture in your mind about what that family looks like, all gathered together on that couch, some sitting on his knee, some leaning over his shoulder, all of them eating pits or cherries and spitting out the pits, cherries, spitting out the pits. Tomorrow, we're going to spend more time reading this book and visualizing, and in that activity, you'll need your crayons and you'll need your notebook and possibly a pencil. So, if you'd like to do tomorrow's activity now, you're welcome to, or you can pause the video and be sure that you come back to it. This is the end of day 1's activities. If you are tired, you may pause the video and come back tomorrow, but don't forget to come back. Welcome back as we continue exploring visualization, which is making a mental picture, and the story Cherries and Cherry Pits by Vera Williams. What do you remember about Bidemi? Do you remember that she's a little girl? That she likes to color? What else do you remember? She drew a picture of a man. She drew a picture of a family. And yesterday, the thing that she was drawing, that family, Let's take a look at it, because some of you got a mental picture of it, but I didn't show you the picture itself. So here you go. Here's a picture of the family, one leaning over the shoulder, some sitting on the lap, all of them eating cherries, spitting out the pits. Today we're going to read another part of the story, and while you're reading this part of the story, I need you to get another picture in your head about what's going on. I'm going to continue on the next page. And before you can even ask Bidimi any questions about the story, such as, how come the names of all the mom's children begin with D? She has another piece of paper ready and is drawing. This is the train seat, and this is a tiny white woman sitting on the train seat. She is almost as short as I am, but she is a grandmother, and on her head is a black hat with a pink flower like a rose flower. It has shiny green leaves like the leaves in my uncle's florist shop. On her feet are old shoes. These are the buckles, and in her lap is a big black pocketbook, and in the pocketbook is a bag. I want to read that part again, and I'm going to put the text here, so if you need to pause it, you can. This is the train seat, and this is a tiny white woman sitting on the train seat. She is almost as short as I am, but she is a grandmother. On her head is a black hat and a pink flower, like a rose flower. It has shiny green leaves, like the leaves in my uncle's florist shop. On her feet are old shoes. These are the buckles, and in her lap is a big black pocketbook, and in the pocketbook is a bag. Your activity for today is this. I would like you to take your visualization, your mental picture of this old woman on the train, and I'd like you to draw it in your reading book. So here I have my reading notebook, and the other day I wrote the definition in here, right here on this page, although I haven't written it in yet, so I need to write that in. If you haven't written it in, you'll want to do that. And below it, what I would like you to do is draw a picture of this old woman who's on the train. Use colors like crayons or colored pencils to do this. And if you'd like to write a sentence to go along with it, please do that. I'm going to read it one more time, and if you need it read to you more times than that, feel free to pause and rewind. When you're done with your picture, I'd like the picture to be sent to me or Miss Canterbury through email. So here we go. One last time. Get a mental picture in your head of what's going on. And also, you can either start drawing now or just wait till it's done. You can listen to this as many times as you want, but I want to see what's in your head and how does it come out of here. That's visualization. And here we go. This is the train seat, and this is a tiny white woman sitting on the train seat. She is almost as short as I am, but she is a grandmother. On her head is a black hat with a pink flower, like a rose flower. It has shiny green leaves like the leaves in my uncle's florist shop, and on her feet are old shoes. These are the buckles, and in her lap is a big black pocketbook, and in the pocketbook is a bag. Once more, if you need to pause this and reread it yourself, or rewind it and have me read it to you, both of those are good options. And other than that, day 2 is complete. When you're done doing your drawing from cherries and cherry pits, be sure to have an adult take a picture of it and email it to me or Miss Canterbury. Thank you for watching, and when you read a book at home, be sure that you are spending some time visualizing, because, as we always say, reading is thinking.